All right, it's meat and potatoes time. Meat and potatoes! Come get your meat and potatoes, right? It's dinner time. Meat and potatoes every night. Let's go to Vic in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey, Brad.
How are you doing?
Hey, everybody. Congratulations on the 4 years.
Oh, thank you very much.
Great show.
Thank you.
Hey, I have a quick question. I came in as a H4 dependent, and the status ran out, and I'm not so certain on...
Or you and your wife no longer together, or spouse no longer together?
Yeah, so it was for my dad's H1B.
Oh, I see.
So I was a dependent on that.
21.
Yeah, I turned 21 a while ago, and so my question is, unfortunately, I had traveled out of the country for the DACA cutoff, and then I came back. So my question is basically, how can I adjust my status?
Well, you're out of status
and
now.
work.
Are you out of status
now? Yeah.
How old are you now?
26, almost 27.
Okay, so you've been out of status 5 years already, probably.
It's been well, I had it up until like 22, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have an answer for you. You know, you need to be eligible for a green card somehow. Did your parents get green cards?
No. Their case is still kind of doing that whole backlog thing.
Right. So you're from India then, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you did a job sponsorship, hypothetically, you'd be in the same backlog. You'd be sponsored as an undocumented immigrant. You'd have a long wait, 10 years or longer. By then, presumably, your parents would be legal residents, and you would be able to do a provisional waiver, go home, and come back. But that's a long time and seems pretty ridiculous to do. So you're left with, I mean, the reality is under the law right now, you're left with fall in love in a bona fide marriage. I don't have another answer for you. I mean, I assume you're a young, handsome man. Go out there and go get him, Tiger. I mean, what else can I tell you? But there's no.
Well, let me ask you this: is there any way I can work and make an income to support that kind of a relationship?
No,
or
you're undocumented at the moment. But assuming you were to start dating somebody and fall in love, and they fall in love with you, and it's a bona fide marriage, and you live together. You would file an adjustment application and get a work permit. There's plenty, wink, wink. There's plenty of people who would hire somebody without status. You got to go find them. The fact that you work out of status doesn't prevent you from getting a green card through marriage. You're not following. You're working undocumented, but you got to do what you got to do in life.
Okay, all right, man. I appreciate it.
But there's no. Is
there no penalties for doing that kind of thing?
No. Not if you're married to an American.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, everybody.
Sorry, I can't help you better. All right, James in Tallahassee, Florida. James.
Hello, good evening.
James, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
What's going on?
How are you doing?
Fabulous.
Yeah, everything good.
Everything
I just want to quickly. You said what?
I said everything's good with me. Tell me your problem. Let me see if I can help you.
Okay. I filed for my VAWA and they sent me a receipt notice. How long will it take for me to get a Prima Facie after putting all the evidences on?
Hopefully about 6 to 8 months.
Okay, 6-8 months.
Yeah.
Okay, will they start counting from the day they receive they acknowledge that they received the mail?
It would count whenever you get a receipt notice from that date.
Okay, that's when it will start counting. Okay. All right, thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Good luck. Let's go to Tan in Vero Beach, Florida. Hi, Tan.
Hi.
What's going
on? Hello, Mr. Brad.
How are you? Good.
I'm good, thank you. So, I have a question. I've been charged with felony, and my case still fight on the court. and so the attorney, the state attorney, want me to plead guilty on third felony.
What is the felony for?
It's I've been charged failed to file tax return, but actually, so I used to have the restaurant and the sales tax, like 7%.
So sales tax issue. Okay. And yes. How much sales tax were you charged as failing to pay? $25,000. Okay. That possibly could be a fraud offense. And if it's a fraud offense, that would be an aggravated felony. So you got to be really concerned about pleading guilty to that type of offense if you're not a citizen of the United States of America. What state is this? Is this in Florida?
Florida, yes, okay. Sir.
You need a personal consultation because we got to see the actual section of law that they want you to plead guilty to. But I'm always concerned with failure to pay taxes. Generally ends up being some sort of tax fraud case, and any fraud in which the loss to the victim, and here the victim would be the state of Florida, is more than $10,000, that would be an aggravated felony and automatic deportation. So you got to be really concerned about all of this. I would suggest you have a consultation.
So I already have a lawyer, and then he recommended to pay off, and then they will go from felony to misdemeanor.
It doesn't matter if it's a felony or a misdemeanor. It depends on what the underlying facts are of the case, and if there is some words related to fraud in the penal code in what you're pleading guilty to, or some related words of that nature in the actual section of law that you're pleading guilty to, and then they look at the underlying facts, and the facts are tax fraud, and they now label you aggravated felon and deport you. So it has nothing to do with whether you plead guilty to a felony or misdemeanor. And I'm not looking to scare you. I'm just being real with you here. So I really think before you plead guilty to anything, you really need to have a personal you don't want to have it with me, that's fine. But you need to have a personal consultation with an attorney. And if you go to court tomorrow and your criminal defense lawyer or the judge says to you, you must plead guilty to this, you have every right in the world to tell the judge and your criminal defense attorney, I'm not pleading guilty to anything until I have a meeting with an immigration lawyer, not on a Brad Show Live, but in a personal one-on-one consultation. And it doesn't have to be with me. Do it with any immigration lawyer you want, but that's what you need now.
So I need the immigration lawyer.
You need an immigration lawyer
right now.
Right now to tell you, if you plead guilty to this, what are the consequences? Will I get deported? If I am put in deportation, do I have a defense to getting deported?
Okay.
I mean, this is your life here.
Yeah. What happens if I'm not plead guilty?
What happens if you don't plead guilty?
Yes, that's what my lawyer do right now.
If you don't plead guilty, eventually there'll be a trial. And if you're found guilty at trial, you probably go to jail and then get deported. You know, you have to then have that discussion with your criminal defense attorney. What are the odds of being found guilty if I go to trial? I think also you need to have a discussion with your criminal defense attorney. Your criminal defense attorney has to talk to the district attorney and the judge if necessary. And sometimes when, when the law's not on your side, you argue facts. Yes, this gentleman, Mr. Tan, did it. Nobody's saying he didn't do it. But he's got a family here. He's got a life here. He's got nowhere to go back home. If you make him plead guilty to this, there's a second punishment of him getting deported. Is this really justice, Mr. Tan getting deported for this? If he's willing to pay it all back and he takes, he says, I did it. He takes responsibility for what he's doing. He's, not going to do this again in the future, blah, blah, blah. His wife, kids, whatever you got. You gotta play the violins a little bit. You know what I mean? And get them to, that's what a criminal defense attorney does, and get them to, change their mind and say, hey, this is not a case where this man should get deported. But it all has to be done in criminal court, because once you plead guilty to an aggravated felony, there's nothing an immigration lawyer can say.
Okay, so what they recommend is right now what they're going to do is
I recommend you speak to an immigration attorney one-on-one. That's what you need to do at this point, because I can't tell you 100% aggravated felony or not until I actually read the section of law, and I can't stop the show to start reading penal code in Florida.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Last question. Even if I pay them off, this is what my lawyer is going to do.
It has nothing to do with paying them. If you plead guilty, the allegation is $25,000 fraud against the state of Florida for failure to pay taxes, and you plead guilty to some penal code that relates to that, that's aggravated felony. Now, if your attorney says he's going to pay back the $25,000 and they give you a slap on the wrist and charge you with a disorderly conduct, then you're fine.
Okay. Okay. All right. And even I got shot at, can I still apply the citizen?
No, not as an aggravated felon. You're getting deported.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
You need help.